All right, time to start binding. Foot switch. First thing I do is get out a piece of purfling material. That's that decorative strip. Remember, we cut the channel for it. I've got a mark on my bench for center line. Take my white pencil. Know I'm centered. All right. Char's got my binding here for me. Carefully pull it out. Got a lefty and a righty. My black purfling strip is going down. Pencil. Now I got to make a mark for my join at the back, which is a miter. So the first thing I do is have to find the waist, find out exactly where the waist is, and I put my finger there, and then I go all the way around carefully, pressing the binding into place. And I make a mark for center, and I give myself a little reference so I know which direction I'm going to cut that miter. Waist. Follow it around. Center line. Again, that's magic center line that went on oh so long ago. Last time we're going to use it though. Okay. I take these big clippers and I clip off the bulk of the excess because I don't need to waste sandpaper doing that. All right, ears in because I'm going to run up my little disc sander. I keep it right here next to me, and I'm going to sand these, come back here and test, and maybe resand if I need to. Not quite perfect there. I need to take a little bit more off what I call the heel of that one. Perfect. Now that little operation involved a lot of technique because I want to make sure that that line is straight up and down, even if these aren't perfectly straight. So when I was holding it against the sander, I was looking over here and lifting that or dropping it in order that that right there is square. All right. Get my piece of paper towel that I'm going to use for glue squeeze out. I'm going to put some glue down in the bottom of my channel, then I'm going to put it in the purfling channel, then I'm going to put it on the binding. Not a ton of glue, but it needs to be everywhere. Nice bead. See me running it there? Right in that crevice. Tiny bit, tiny bit in the purfling, but if I don't put it there, there's no way for glue to squeeze into there. Down the center of my binding, but you know what I'm going to do after this, don't you? I know it's messy. Finger, spread it. See me going back and forth there? Perfect coverage. I don't want to see one gap there. All right, paper towel for cleaning. My marked purfling. Doesn't have to be exactly on the line because I've got some overhang, but there it is. My hip up against the base side upper bout. Now I'm looking down, you can't see it, but I'll just tell you, trust me. I'm looking down at the end graft and making sure that my binding joint is right on center. Clean off a little bit there. By the way, I call this the ugly phase. We've taken this body that Shar and Aaron have made so pretty, and now I'm messing it up for a few days. It'll be worth it. Trust me. Again, trust me. All right, so what I'm doing, as you see, is working around in very small bits. In this case, remember our even clamping pressure? Well, most of the clamping pressure, I'm going to put on some safety clamps later, but most of my clamping pressure is this tape. What I'm looking for as I go around is squeeze out at every step, tape about every 1 inch, no need for more than that. Make every piece of tape count. It's not there just hanging out. See, I'm with my left hand putting that purfling strip in, getting it started so it doesn't get in the way. I call this the toughest job in Lu 3 because the only way to do it is to do it, but once you start, you've got 15 minutes to finish before the glue sets up. So there's no way, if you're teaching someone, that you can say, okay, now let's take a break. All right, this is really important. I want there to be plenty of material in that waist. You would think, well, press in, and there will be, but I find once I've done that, I take my left hand and I push that way toward the waist. So now it can't come out. Has nowhere to go. See me getting good squeeze out when I'm clamping, otherwise known as taping. All right. Now, the neck and fretboard are going to cover up here, so I don't have to have it perfect against the dovetail. I back up my diagonal cutters, go in about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Cut off the excess. Make sure I got enough glue, it's perfect. If it wasn't, I'd put a drop in there. Not going to bother right there because I'm going to be clamping it in a minute. Keep going. No time to rest right now. All right, 3 beads of glue, remember? Now in my purfling channel, don't need much there, but you want some. Lay the bead on my binding. I think we counted earlier. How many episodes in step 6?
10 or 11, I think. Maybe more. Was it more?
I don't know, somewhere around there. Step 6 is huge for us,
Oh, yeah.
as you can tell. Really the center of the lineup, 6, 7, 8 are big. Shar and Aaron have one big step. What number is it? Maybe 3?
4.
4. And of course 14 when we string is big. All right. Now I get my miter in there that I preset earlier. Get my purfling started. I want that miter to be perfect. There's no, off by one side, off by the other side. It's just perfect. I know that I'm going to clamp it in a little bit. I want to make sure right now that I don't pull the miter apart. So I'm being careful to squeeze in with my binding. Okay, with my right hand I'm getting it started all the way down because I don't want it to be interfering or in the way of a good fit. All that excess glue is going to get cleaned up later. You can say, well, you could use water right now and clean it up. And water is a great cleanup for this glue. But the thing is, when you put water and glue together, you make something called a glue wash that actually stands a better chance of soaking into the instrument. And it's then much harder to get out because it's no longer sitting on the surface. It's now soaked into the wood fibers. So be really careful of creating a glue wash. We're going to talk about that later when we do the bridge. All right. I just trimmed that so it didn't interfere with that, so I can get a good fit here, up against the dovetail. In 1/8, lift the purfling, make sure I've got good glue squeeze out. Perfect. All right, now we put in some clamps. Mainly just areas where I know it needs some help. Now remember, I didn't tape up there at the end, right by that dovetail. So I don't want to just push there because it'll push out over there. So I actually start pushing in and then I wiggle, in this case, left. Clear that glue out of the dovetail. Okay, do the same thing over here, only in the opposite direction. You notice the back end of that clamp's got the miter, by the way. Okay, start right about at that corner. Wiggle it to the right. Clear out the glue. All right, now I'm just checking things out. You know, I'm not sure. I'm going to redo this one. All right. I want to make sure my purfling is right in the channel, and it is. It looked like it might have been a little bit out of the channel. All right. Now, I know where the binding has a tendency to not seat all the way, which is right there and right there. And you can imagine why, because it's coming in and out of the waist, which has now been clamped. So it's kind of like bulging a little bit. But I take this opportunity to feel around, and I'm just feeling I want it to be pretty flush. So I put a clamp in there. And on the other side, just to get that binding really in there. And I expect to have the same thing here. Not bad there. There I need one.
I'm about to run out of batteries here.
Almost done.
I know.
Okay, clamp there, clamp there, finish quickly. All right, Shar already took the picture. We're done with step 6.